Today I want to talk to you about one of the first bonsai plantings I ever did, and the first video I ever uploaded to this YouTube channel was about these trees. It told you about their origin stories. I'm going to link that in the description. Go ahead and have a look at that video, but for now, let's look at how it's been doing in the 18-20 months since that video was published.
The last time we saw them was 18 months ago in their origin story, but that video was just after getting repotted, severely pruned, and heavily wired all at one time, which really sapped their vigor. So let's take a look at how they've done since then. By the end of last year, they were still slowly building vigor from the repotting, pruning, and defoliation. In the spring, I put them outside and let them spend the summer in nearly full sun, and by the end of July they built up vigor and were growing really strong. The shoots grew straight, and there isn't a lot of ramification, so it was time for a small pruning. The goal of this pruning was to cut the growing tips and encourage backbudding and new branching so that I'll have more choices on how to shape the trees. I'm mainly going through the trees and cutting the tips off the longest shoots, trying to leave at least 2 leaves on each branch so that the trees don't lose vigor. I'm also taking off some of the larger and more mature leaves to let more air and light in. I'm hopeful that this branch in particular will backbud. It's an important one for the forest look I'm going for, but the new growth is just too long and straight. I'm hoping some new branches will emerge closer to the trunk so I can pick a new leader. After cutting them back a bit, I put them on the benches for more late summer sun. We had a very hot summer this year and they did great. A month later and it was already clear that it had worked pretty well. There were new backbuds to develop into potential new branches. The pruning was light enough that it hadn't hurt their vigor. If anything, it seemed to increase it. It stayed warm into the middle of October this year, so I left them outside on the benches longer than I expected before bringing them inside for the winter. The temps go between 50 and 65 Fahrenheit, that's between 10 and 18 Celsius in the plant room in the winter. The lights are on timers for about 11 hours a day. The forest is still growing a little, but the cooler temperatures and lower hours give them a chance to rest and recharge. Okay, I'm going to give it a small clipping so it'll be ready in the spring. In part, I want to get any branches that I let go in the summer pruning that have taken off since then, but mostly I want to take advantage of some of the new options I have from the new backbuds to reduce the longer branches back.
I've done several things to it. I've given it several prunings. I've cut it several times. I think it's come a long way. It's developing out really nice. It's getting some interesting shapes to the canopy, and I really like that. I really like how some of the trees are taking on some funky shapes. It's responded really well to wiring. It's done really well. It's got some pretty good branching in there. Sometimes these don't branch so well, and so I'm really pleased with how the branching's gone on it. It's a really fun planting. It's one I've really enjoyed doing. Now it's starting to build up some vigor, and so I'm really excited to see what it's going to do this spring. Thanks a lot, everybody. Check back in for updates on this and other trees.